Your childhood is dying. Everything that you are nostalgic for is fading away before your very eyes.
Okay, that's a little excessive, sorry. But it's true. McDonald's play places are going away from most every single location. Happy Meal toys suck. And worst of all, your favorite theme park rides are going away. Just this last month in December, there was huge panic over the fact that there was the recent announcement that Pop Tropica was shutting down, and that caused a massive outrage online from tons of people who used to play it. Wait, what's that? That was all just a rumor. Pop Tropica's not going anywhere? It was just a lie? I've been lied to? The sentiment is still true though. It was crazy for me because I covered this not that long ago, and then it kind of got me thinking more about how things are going away as we get older. If you're like me and you grew up in the early 2000s and you were a teenager in the mid 2010s, then you are no stranger to browser-based games. I've done a ton of videos where I cover a bunch of these on my channel in the past. It was my bread and butter for a long time here. But my goal with those videos has always been to sort of cherish the memory of playing these sort of nostalgic games that are kind of obscure now at this point. Luffy has joined the video. My goal with those videos was to always cherish the memories of those types of games, even if I never really played some of them, like Pop Tropica. I always knew that the way that the internet works and those types of games go, they're gonna be shut down and go away forever, so I might as well upload something on YouTube so it'll be sort of like an artifact in the next 30 years or so for people to remember stuff from their childhood. Just looking at my catalog of videos, it's so easy to scroll through what I've covered and see which ones have been shut down officially and are only kept alive through fans or not even around for you to play anymore at all. Club Penguin's gone officially, but kept alive through multiple fan services. World is gone, I just covered this recently. World Club keeps it alive. Toontown, same deal, gone, but kept alive through fans. Then there's Our World, which is also gone, and the closest thing that you can get to playing it is Vegas World, which is the next game from the developers, but unless you're super into gambling, it's not really worth your time, to be honest with you, and I'm not covering that because I don't need another gambling addiction. And then there's Fusion Fall, which forget it if you want to play that thing. By the time that my video got uploaded and put out for the world to see, which by the way, it's still my #1 most viewed video and I don't know how. But by the time that came out, the fan server that I was playing, and at that time I was streaming it, it was already shut down and thrown away with the DMCA strike by Cartoon Network. And there's probably never going to be an attempt at remaking this game on Cartoon Network side of things because it's probably a licensing nightmare at this point. And if you like the Kim Kardashian mobile game, whew, do I have horrible news for you. But I have good news for you, speaking of liking things. You should like this video so you can get more videos from me in your feed. Actually, speaking of mobile games, surprisingly a ton of like the 2010s mobile games from the App Store and Google Play Store are still around and kicking, funny enough. Temple Run 1 and 2 are still going strong, and you can still play Geometry Dash, Jetpack Joyride, and Subway Surfers is like a meme right now for some reason. Those are some of the big ones, just to name a few, that you can still, you know, go and download today, but there's still tons that if you didn't download them on your phone prior to probably like 2015, 2016, they're gone forever. Like, you legally cannot download those games anymore if you didn't get them years ago in the past. And this is all because of how the iOS and the Google Play Store function in terms of how they update their coding software and how developers don't try to update things to get in tune with the times. He wants to jump up on my shelf. I can see it in his face. I can see it. That's the eyes of someone who's up to no good. I grew up in the era where the mobile game market was just this brand new world full of untapped potential, and game developers had maybe too much ambition in their sightlines. Most notably, I remember the era where game developers were just trying to port
full-size console games onto mobile.
And this was happening when like the iPhone 4 was still new. It's insane to think about how ambitious they were trying to be. And like, yeah, you can play Resident Evil 4 Remake and Resident Evil Village on your iPhone 15 like it's nothing nowadays. But think about how this was like some 10 or 12 years ago. This is insane to think about. All I'm saying is you don't know true bliss until you've played Call of Duty World at War Zombies on someone's iPod Touch in the back of a bus at a school field trip, and it wasn't even your iPod Touch because you never owned one, so you were just kind of taking turns between game sessions. And as technology got better, these games started to look and feel worse. I mean, here's some gameplay of World at War Zombies from what I'm talking about. This doesn't look very good on mobile nowadays. I don't think you can play this version of the game on the App Store anymore, and that sucks. And for a lot of developers, it was just easier to cut their losses and not update these games to the brand new software, either with like a new iOS or Android update. So they just decided to sunset them and let them be lost to time and gone forever. Now there's no legal way of playing a lot of these games anymore. And I say legally because, you know, yo-ho, yo-ho, right? And even our favorite video games are dying and going away and retiring as well. In July of this year, 2024, Microsoft will be sunsetting and shutting down the Xbox 360 marketplace, effectively ending that console's 19-year run of having a storefront. A digital storefront at that. Notice how I'm going back to it's the digital part that's kind of making it all kind of scary because it's going away. I'm old enough to remember when the Xbox 360 first came out, and when that and the PlayStation 3 were like the next systems to be coming out, that felt like that was the future. We peaked. I don't know if you guys remember seeing the ads for these systems back in the day, but they were insane. I still get goosebumps when I think about the Halo 3 and the ODST and Reach commercials, like the live action ones. Now that the Xbox 360 store is going away, it got me thinking about how a few years ago, Sony announced that the PlayStation 3 storefront would be shutting down as well, and I think online services would soon join it. And that got a massive outcry from people, and they decided to not do that. But you better hope it's not soon, because that storefront is probably the one to hit the chopping block next. I mean, the last digital storefront that I can think of off the top of my head that shut down was the Wii U and 3DS eShop, which happened early 2023. And that one's still depressing. It still makes me sad to think about. I mean, the Wii U came out like the same time frame as like the Xbox One and the PS4. And those are still doing good. I think the PlayStation 4 actually got like a bundle for holiday of 2023, which is insane to think about because that system's like 10 years old now. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely think that gaming kind of peaked with that 7th generation of consoles. Not to say that like, yeah, obviously I'm nostalgic for it, and that's kind of when I grew up, and that was, you know, what I thought the future would be. By the way, the 7th generation is like the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, the Wii, the DS, like all that stuff. But it felt like gaming was way more willing to be sort of innovative and try new things to sort of push the boundaries of what tech they have around them and what tech could be for the future. And we all know that, you know, Nintendo loves their gimmicks. I was talking about the Wii U, and that has the whole gamepad, and the Wii had motion controls, but it at least was fun, and the games that it worked with and people who went out of their way to try to make it more intuitive, clearly you could see the effort be put in. And then Xbox obviously had the Kinect, which may not have been the best decision for them, but it was a fun time anyway. And even back in the 7th generation, when there was massive DLC, it was like you were getting content packs for the most part. I always think about like the greatest gaming expansions came from that era, with like the Shivering Isles DLC, the Ballad of Gay Tony with Grand Theft Auto 4. Do you remember the story DLC that came out for Grand Theft Auto 5? Exactly, but I remember all the dumb, pointless microtransaction garbage they put in Grand Theft Auto Online for that game. Remember Undead Nightmare from Red Dead Redemption? Tell me, was there Undead Nightmare for Red Dead Redemption 2? They dropped support for that game so fast, I can't believe it. Yeah, this sounds very boomery, but I will stand my ground on this opinion specifically. Gaming nowadays is focused on taking as much money and time away from you just to ensure the survival of a games as a service now. Gaming just feels really gatekeepy. If you're not someone who has the means to purchase, you know, the next battle pass or something to keep you relevant in the game, or you don't have the next 200 hours of your life planned out so you have 100 of those hours for gaming, you're kind of just left in the dust while everyone gets to enjoy Bird is the Word, Peter Griffin Fortnite skin emote. Those good days are dying out, unfortunately, when you think about it. I mean, going back to Halo, if you were to pick up your copy of Halo 3 and dust it off your Xbox 360 and wanted to play a good old-fashioned match of Team Slayer with that iconic main menu music the entire time, you're out of luck. You have to buy Master Chief Collection, which is not a bad thing, but that specific version of Halo no longer has online multiplayer. Well, what about Little Big Planet 1 and 2? Those were like big main sellers in the PlayStation. When the PlayStation 3 first came out, it really wasn't doing all that well. There wasn't a crazy amount of big, heavy hitters that you needed on it in the beginning. And then Little Big Planet came and paved the way for that, where it made the PlayStation 3 a part of the conversation against Xbox 360. I mean, Sackboy is like the mascot when I think about the PlayStation 3. So, I mean, I'm sure you can play that too with its robust level editor and sharing capabilities to create a community and make friends online. And oh, and that's gone too, actually. Well, how do you think Nintendo's doing? I mean, even though they shut down the storefront for the Wii U and the 3DS, I'm sure you can just hop in and play Mario Kart Wii online at any point that you want. That's also shut down. Damn it. Actually, this year too, Nintendo is shutting down the Wii U and 3DS online services as well. It's insane to think about that all of this infrastructure for online is going away, and that's not even like my childhood, really. That's like my teenage years. I bought the Wii U when I was like freshman in high school. Are you kidding me? This sucks. And it sucks because I'm one of the few psychopaths who still loves his Wii U. Even though I haven't played it in a few years now, I'm definitely gonna dust it off just to enjoy these final few months of Splatoon 1 multiplayer and whatever else I shuffle around and find to play online. Maybe Smash Brothers for Wii U. I don't know why I'd ever want to go back to Bayonetta, the game. And the 3DS might be one of my favorite systems of all time. It just sucks to see my early teenage years fade away before my eyes. Rewinding back a little bit too, I really grew up around the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Now we all know that these game systems didn't really have like a traditional online service. There was no digital storefront for the PlayStation 2 as far as I remember, and the original Xbox had one, but they just kind of combined it with the Xbox 360s, so it's really nothing too crazy. But you know, online services for these systems have been shut down, so we're going over that. We're not talking too much about that. Do you guys remember when games for these consoles were like $30 most at GameStop back then? That was peak for kids like me who had to game on a budget. These are the game systems that I would scramble to buy games for. I remember one time, I think I went to the dentist and my mom decided to give me a gift. She gave me a copy of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and I think it was only about 20 bucks back then. Do you want to know how much Wind Waker costs now? That is the price of a brand new PlayStation 5 game. The entire retro gaming collection scene right now is in absolute shambles. If you want to get into retro game collecting, you are shit out of luck. This is the worst time for you to ever have picked up that hobby. Whenever I see things like this, or when Pokemon cards were super huge for a little bit, as someone who is a more modern Pokemon card collector, it's really discouraging to see that these once not traditional hobbies and collections are now becoming spiked up in prices, and it sucks. Now the only way for you to truthfully enjoy a majority of your childhood video game collection if you don't have physical anymore is either hope that they ported it, made it in HD or something available for you to purchase on modern day storefronts, or hope and pray you don't have to take out a mortgage for your house that you can't even afford in this day and age. Or of course, there's always the option of sailing the 7 seas to play those games. And I'm not encouraging you to go out and do that, but I'm sure there's tons of guides online for you to figure out how to do that, if you know what I'm saying. I know a lot of this video is pretty doom and gloom. It's kind of boomery. It's stupid. I'm aware. It's February. My birthday is last month. It's, my birthday doesn't really change, so it's always in January. But as the years go by, as I start getting a little older, I start to appreciate and value certain things about my childhood, whether it be the carelessness of the adolescence or the things that I got to enjoy at that time that are no longer around. The older you get, the more you sort of miss those things. I have my own place now. As you've seen, I have a cat. I have to pay for things. It sucks. Being an adult sucks. But then also, I don't like to really But then I also don't like to dwell on sort of the negativity about things. And it's easy for me, a YouTuber whose primary content stream revolves around nostalgia, but I always feel like I carry the messages of positivity across all of that in all of my videos, so I don't like to focus on the negative of things. It's not all that bad when you think about it. Dedicated fan bases are incredible. It's why we have programs such as Ruffle that helps keep our favorite Flash games alive to this day. There's been a huge surge of interest in people who want to restore a lot of those lost to time old mobile games. Do you guys remember when like JavaScript phone games were a thing, like on flip phones and stuff? People have been bringing a lot of those back to resurfacing so you can play them again. There was an old Kingdom Hearts mobile game that's for the most part lost, but people are trying to restore it to the best they could. And yes, you can still probably find Flappy Bird amongst all of that chaos as well. And if you want to play some of your favorite retro games online, there's still dedicated groups who still play Mario Kart for the Wii. There's already people trying to work on ways to figure out how to keep the Wii U and 3DS online services up through modding. So, I'm not telling you to mod your stuff, but it's always an option for you in case you know. But it's thanks to people like that that you're still able to play World through World Club, or Club Penguin through New Club Penguin. Actually, speaking of Club Penguin, there's a couple of spiritual revivals of a project similar like that now anyway. There's one called Parrot Party World, which is mostly created by the original developer team of Club Penguin, or at least towards the end of its life cycle, which I totally recommend you support. VR chat scratches the itch that world left behind of a social game that's entirely created by its community. People are so interesting with VR chat too, and it's incredible to see what people can make just through passions. And it's a little bit more interactive than World ever was as well, because you're in VR, it's the next generation of technology. And it's awesome that a game like that exists because you don't even need a VR headset to play it properly. The Xbox series of consoles still keeps the spirit of the original Xbox and the 360 alive through backwards compatibility, and most of those games that have a decent license to keep up have been available for you to purchase through backwards compatibility on the Xbox storefront. But you always should, get physical, so that that doesn't go away for good in case it gets delisted off the store. It's really easy to be sad about the world that we no longer live in, but I also think that dwelling on that sadness really makes you show all doomy and gloomy. It's dumb. Why don't you think about things that are productive and meaningful, like how we can appreciate the memories of our childhood and adolescence and move on from that. We now know the things that we love and cherish, so let's just carry those memories and feelings and bring it over to a new generation of things that we can care about as well. I don't really have as much time to game like I used to, or even make YouTube videos like that anymore, but the time that I do have to do it, I appreciate even more now. Between work or college or trying to keep my social life together, it's still something that you have to make time for. I learned to appreciate these things more as I'm getting older. Like all things with time, it all just kind of fades away, so why not appreciate it now while you still have it, rather than be upset and pissed off when it's no longer around for you. Anyway, that's the main points of this video. Your childhood is dying, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. We can just take the things that we know and appreciate from then and find new ways to put that energy towards new things now. We can learn to appreciate these things. It's really cool when you think about it. Whenever I would make those videos where I play old game in current year, that whole format, it was never a way for me to be like, oh, games were so much better back then. It was meant for me to, find an outlet to go, hey, remember this thing that you used to play? It's crazy it's still around because people give enough of a shit to keep it around. And it was meant for you to just kind of get nostalgic for something, look it up, find my video, go, hey, that was really great. That was a fun video. Thanks for sharing this with me and reliving those memories. That's it. I didn't want any message of saying, old things were better, new things bad. It's a give and take. It's how you live life. This is getting really preachy now. I hope you guys had a great new year. 2023 was a great year. I hope I get to entertain you guys 10 times more than I did in 2023 this year in 2024. Like I said, my birthday. Yeah. Hey, haha. January babies. Leave a comment, I guess, if you're born in January. I don't know. I didn't comment bait you guys in this recording. I should go back and do that. Oh, I should do that. I should comment bait. Oh yeah, and thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers at the beginning of this year. What an incredible way to start this year. Shoot, let's shoot those numbers even higher. Let's multiply those numbers. We're not gonna multiply it. We're probably gonna multiply by 1. Let's be real. I'm still a pretty obscure channel. That's been a childhood dream of mine, if you could believe it or not. And it really means a lot that over 1,000 of you guys give a shit to click and watch my video and see how this is all going and all that. And it really means a lot to me. So thank you guys for that. I don't know what else to say, so I'm just gonna end the video. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike, drop a comment. If anything you want to see from me in the future. Hope you guys like the new set. This is kind of what it's all going to be from here on out. Rearranged the whole apartment. You can see a lot of my collectibles, I guess. The Sakamoto Days poster. I got that bad boy in Japan here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for sticking around to the very end. I'll see you later. I'm the Apache Ninja. We're gonna have a great year this year. Later.